Welcome to the RetroWolf Podcast, episode number 8. And I'm very excited today because I'm joined with my good friend and fellow YouTuber, Los, aka Big Retro Show. How you doing today, Los?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. Last day of the work week, so I've got the weekend to look forward to play some games, get some shit done, maybe drink a little beer. As a matter of fact, got a little blue moon sitting here,
There you go.
ready to
That's a good
go.
one.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's Friday night.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
know what I'm gonna do
yes.
tonight.
That song is oddly catchy, isn't it? Yeah,
It's funny.
it is funny. It's definitely
Yeah, he
funny.
should he should do more of those. He
Oh,
should
I
do more
agree.
of those.
I agree, definitely, man.
Yeah.
So how you been doing lately, man? What all you been up to?
Oh man, I have just been busy
Hmm.
with basic daily stuff, just work and home life, and I've been doing the channel
Cheers.
and just trying to survive in this crazy world that we live in right now.
No kidding. No
Yeah.
kidding. So speaking of the channel, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what your channel is all about, how they can find it, and where they can find you on social media. Get some plugs going, because there's probably some people in my audience that maybe have not checked out your channel, and I'm hoping
A-
that they will.
abs- Absolutely, yeah. My channel is the Big Retro Show, and on the channel I talk about music, movies, video games, and toys. But lately it's been mostly video games, and that's just because of some of the copyright issues that surround us YouTubers when we try to, talk about our favorite music or our favorite movies. We can't necessarily show you the movies or the music because of the copyright strikes that we routinely get. And so I have found that doing video games is a lot safer than doing movies and music. And so I've just kind of been focusing on video games, but I'm going to be doing more 80s music and movie content and more toy content as well. So I can be found on just at Big Retro Show on all of the social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And YouTube, of
Yep.
course.
Yep, and I will throw the link to the YouTube channel and, of course, your Instagram handles down in the description down below. I highly encourage everybody, when you're done with this podcast, actually do it now so you don't forget. Go click on his channel, open it up in a new window or
Appreciate
on your
that.
phone or on the internet, and highly encourage you to check it out after this podcast because Los he comes up with some really unique video ideas. Very entertaining guy, very knowledgeable about video games, very knowledgeable about all things 80s and 90s.
I try. I try.
And yeah, you'll learn a lot. In particular, I recommend checking out his GI Joe video. I think that's one of my favorites that you've done.
Oh man, it's one of my favorites too, man.
Yeah,
That one took a while, and
I bet.
that was a real labor of love. So I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thanks so
yeah.
much for that.
So yeah, man, thank you for joining the podcast. I've been excited to get you on. I've had you on a discussion video before with Gaming Off the Grid talking about physical
Yeah,
games versus digital games, and that was a great discussion that we all had. I really enjoyed that one. We really dug deep into that topic and kind of weighed the pros and cons of all that. So if anybody wants to check that out, I'll throw that in the description too. But yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on, and I wanted to get into a couple of different topics today. And I want to kind of start with an experience that you went through recently, a very difficult experience, and that is the fact that you had COVID-19. So I was hoping you could kind of walk us through that experience because I'm sure people that have never had it or don't know anybody that has had it, they're probably pretty curious about what it's like.
yeah. No, thanks for that, Matt. Man, yeah, I got COVID-19 in late June, and I was exposed by my mother, who was exposed by a caregiver who used to visit her house. She didn't know that she was infected, and she went to my mother's house. My mother got it, and I got it because I was picking my mother up from the hospital. You see, she was hospitalized for 3 days with issues that she was having related to COVID-19, although at the time we didn't know. And so I got exposed to COVID-19 from my mother. And, you know, sure enough, I was tested for it. And sure enough, I tested positive for it. Now, it took me 2 days to get those results. And it was agonizing
I bet.
because a wave of emotion comes over you. I kind of suspected that I had it, but at the same time, I was praying to God, all right, that I
Hmm.
didn't have it. And so, you know, it's for me, the symptoms started 10 days after my exposure.
Oh, really?
So
Wow.
I thought I was all good.
Hmm.
You know, didn't have a care in the world. And I was at work when I got a call from my mother who told me that she was exposed to COVID-19 and she's positive. So I was like, oh shit. Now I have to go and get tested. Now I got to tell my managers, and now I got to go home because I don't want to, you know, expose anyone to COVID-19. So I went home, still didn't have any symptoms. The symptoms developed on the 10th day, and it started with massive headaches, fever. I had nausea. I had diarrhea. I had chills and aches. So it felt very, very much like a fever.
Hmm.
But the one bonus symptom, and the one that was really kind of scaring me, was when I would breathe, it would hurt.
Really?
It would
Like
hurt.
shallow breaths or deep breaths?
Deep breaths.
Yeah.
Deep breaths. So I had to measure my breathing. I couldn't breathe deep.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Because if I did, I would start coughing because it would start hurting my lungs. Yeah, so, you know, when I first heard that I had COVID-19, I thought, oh shit, am I gonna die? Am I gonna need to be put on a respirator? You know, what is gonna happen to me? And so
Yep.
the doctors, they just say, okay, you need to recover at home. There's nothing we can give you. You need to recover at home. And so I went to bed and I closed myself off from the world, man. I isolated myself, and I was just in a real negative cloud.
I believe it.
And, you know, I had the support of my family, especially my wife and my mother, who was still battling COVID, but she was recovering really quickly. And so my brother and my sister were sending me care packages all the time.
That's awesome.
Medicine, vitamins, everything you can think of. And we also had some support from a church group that we go to. Well, not that we go to, but that we know of
Mm-hmm.
through my sister-in-law. And they were, you know, supplying us with dinners every night. So that help was invaluable to us. You can't survive COVID-19 without the support of your loved ones.
Yeah.
And it's difficult because you don't want to get them infected. And as it turns out, my wife was infected with COVID-19. Luckily, her symptoms were very minor. I think she just got like a headache.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So she tested positive for it too. I am super glad that my two daughters didn't get COVID-19 because they were tested and they both came out negative.
Now, were they around while y'all had it, or?
Well, I isolated almost as soon as I found out. But,
Yeah.
you know, I was around the house. I was there before on Father's
Right.
Day. You know, we were hanging out and stuff. And at that time, I thought, oh, my gosh, I wonder if, you know, I had exposed them to that. And so it was just a big funk. And so, you know, I started feeling better probably around the 14th, 15th day. And I got, you know, the clearance to go back to work. And I was just really happy about that because there was a time when I was just like really tripping, like really bugging out, you know, wondering, man, how the hell am I going to get through this? Is this going to, you know, kill me? But it was a lot like fever. And the lung thing was just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, that sounds like the worst part for sure.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, how old is your mom?
My mom is 74.
Wow, and she recovered really good at that age then, huh?
Well, my mom is a gangster. She is a total gangster, kind of like your mom. Your mom's a gangster too.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't take shit from no one.
Nice.
She is cancer survivor, both breast, brain, and thyroid.
Wow.
So she has had cancer 3 times, and she has beaten it each and every single time. So COVID-19 wasn't gonna stop her. So
yeah,
you know, I wish I was as strong as my mother, man, because that lady is just, you don't want to ever, ever, ever attack her with COVID-19 because she will kick its ass.
Man, yeah, she sounds like a really freaking strong woman, dude. She sounds like a super soldier or something.
Dude, yeah, I am just super happy that she
Hmm.
pulled through.
Oh
We
yeah.
all pulled through, and
Hmm.
now we're all the wiser, and
Hmm.
we're careful, like hella careful, hella
Hmm.
paranoid, still deathly afraid of COVID-19. And our state here in California is like ground zero right now for
Yeah.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to be going back to the stay-at-home order, and that's going to just fuck our economy up. But
Yeah.
it's got to be done, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennessee's getting pretty bad too, man. They're having the state's having a huge rise in cases. Now, thankfully, for me, I live in the middle of nowhere in the boonies, and I don't really go to the city that much. I used to
Yeah.
work in the city, but we've been forced to work from home, so I'm just working from home now. So I have no reason to go to the main city, which would be Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I do go out, of course, to get groceries and run errands and stuff, but at first I wasn't really crazy about the mask thing, and I wasn't really wearing it all that much.
Hmm.
But then my county, well, not the county that I live in, but the county that I go to the most, they did a mask mandate. So now everybody has to wear masks,
Yeah.
or you could be fined. So,
Yeah, you can be fined. And I've gotten used to it now.
hmm,
It doesn't bother me.
yeah,
I think we're headed that way, though. There's going to be fines in my
yeah,
local city and county, and there are fines in California,
hmm,
counties all over California. And so, I've heard so many different opinions about masks. People that
hmm,
hate it, people that are just so anti-mask they don't want to wear it.
hmm,
And it's as Americans, I think that we've grown accustomed to the freedom that we enjoy.
no
And
doubt.
so having an impediment on your face to your breathing, it's very difficult for people to swallow. But I think that, if everybody were to wear a mask, I really think that we could
Hmm.
turn the tide against this fucking disease, man.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, man, I just want to tell you, while you were going through that, I was thinking about you every day, trying to send positive vibes to you. I'm not really religious, but I was trying to send positive thoughts and vibes to you, and I'm very glad that you pulled through. And I had no doubt that you would pull through. I just
Yeah.
knew that you were going to be fine.
Well,
Um,
I just want to thank you,
yeah,
man,
yeah, man.
because you don't know how much that meant to me. You reached out to me, and several other people reached out to
Hmm.
me to see where I was, because
Yep.
I wasn't posting anything, and my
Right.
channel was dead throughout that whole time.
Yep.
And people were wondering, well, what happened to him? There's a lot of the times we see people on Twitter and YouTube, and we love their content. We get to know them and be friends with them and stuff,
Yes.
and they disappear, and it's
Yep.
like, what the hell happened? Like Blazing Camel Gaming. It's like, dude,
Hmm.
what happened to Blazing Camel?
He disappeared
And
again.
like, yeah, I didn't want to be one of those.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I'm very grateful to you and to the others that
Hmm.
reached out to me. It meant so much to me.
Yeah, well, a lot of us have become kind of an online family, not just because of YouTube, but just because we have a lot in common and we share the love of video games
Yeah,
and collecting and things like that. So
yeah, yeah,
it's one of the great things, that the internet and the social media and online, it has its pros and it has its cons. It definitely has its cons, but this is definitely one of the pros, the fact that we can interact with each other in real time at any time we want from across the country or even across the world, and that's awesome.
yeah. No, that is awesome. It's almost like we should have our own YouTuber convention, the
Yes.
Twitter YouTuber family,
Yep.
so we could all meet up, play games, and just have fun.
Yep. No doubt, man. Well, thank you for sharing your COVID experience, man. And people listening, we didn't want this to come across like a negative thing or trying to scare people. I just wanted people to really see that if you do get this disease, which hopefully you don't, but if you do get it, your chances of pulling through are actually really high unless you have a lot of really severe health issues, or if you're elderly, then of course you're at risk.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, his mom is proof that even if you are elderly, you can still pull through. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of doom and gloom and fear and negativity all over the media about the virus that I feel like spreads a little too much fear. Which a little fear is good because it can give you some caution, but don't let the fear rule your life.
No, absolutely. Be very careful when you go out there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you do get it, you'll most likely beat it,
Hmm.
like all three of us did.
The death rate is
Uh,
super
it-
low.
right, right. The death rate is low. I think what scares people the most is that we just don't know enough about
Hmm.
how it infects people and
Right.
how it affects them. And there are long-term effects related to COVID, even if you beat it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so it's just one of these public health crises
Yeah.
that we're dealing with in 2020. And
Yep.
fortunately, there are people out there working, trying to get vaccines going.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully they do that.
Yeah. Well, what I always try to tell people, Los, is it may not feel like this thing's ever going to end, but eventually it will end. It's not going to, this is not going to keep going on forever. Eventually we'll get the vaccines, they'll get distributed, people will get vaccinated. Eventually it will end. It might
Well,
take a little while, but it will end eventually.
well, I have faith in that. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
my hope is that the world learns a lesson from this virus, because we really dodged a bullet with this virus. It could have been, if it was a virus with a 50% death rate, that would probably be it. That would throw the
Yeah.
entire world into chaos. So we really dodged a bullet here, and I'm hoping that the world learns a lot from this so that the next time there's a pandemic, and there will be another one eventually, because all throughout human history there's pandemics. It's just part of nature, it's part of life.
Yeah.
So my hope is that the next time there is a pandemic, we will be able to take what we learned from this pandemic and stop the next one before it actually turns into a pandemic. That's my hope.
Yeah. No, that's my hope too. And we just gotta hunker down, man,
Hmm.
and get through this. I mean, we
Yep.
will get through this as a nation
Yep.
if we all come together.
Yep.
Thing is, everyone wants to argue about wearing masks and
Right.
eating and all that stuff, and so you
Yeah.
just gotta chill, and stop
Hmm.
arguing. Yeah.
Yep. And in the meantime, while you have downtime from the virus, do something positive in your life. Do something constructive. Maybe work on a project, try to learn a new skill, or play video games. Which, of
Start a
course,
YouTube channel.
yes, start a YouTube. Now is the perfect time to start a YouTube channel. No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and move into some gaming topics here.
All right. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yes,
Gaming,
sir.
baby.
Yes, sir. So Los, what all have you been playing lately, man? I'm curious.
Oh man, I've been on that Last of Us 2.
Love that game,
Okay.
man.
That game is just
Hmm.
immersive. And that's why I play video games, because I want to
Yes,
immerse myself in a world to escape, what's going on right now.
exactly.
So The Last of Us 2 has got me hooked right now.
So good.
It's so great. And that's the only thing I'm playing right now.
Hmm.
But I've gotten so many games just through GameStop and Best Buy, Facebook Marketplace. I got so many games. The next one I'm probably going to really dive into is the State of Decay.
That's a
one that
good series.
I've been wanting to play that one.
Have
And
you?
I
Are
got
you?
one.
Are you going to play the first one? Or is that what you're? Or are you going
Yeah,
to start there? That's good. Yeah.
yeah. I got the first one and the second one. I heard there's a part 3 in development.
Yep.
So yeah, I gotta play those.
Mhm.
That's for Xbox One. And then for PS4, I'm gonna that Man Eater. I just got that today in the mail.
That game looks cool.
So
Yeah, that game looks really cool.
we get on that,
Mhm.
and maybe a little Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, what are you playing right now?
Well, before I do that, I want to mention State of Decay. I haven't played State of Decay 2, but the first State of Decay is an awesome game, man. Like it really gives you that zombie survival
Yeah.
experience. Like you got to really play that game very carefully. I think you're gonna like it a lot, man. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as far as what I've been playing, of course, I knocked out The Last of Us 2 several weeks ago. Had loved every moment of it.
Yeah.
Loved every moment of
I,
it. And
it's a pretty fun game.
yep, and it's also the most controversial game of 2020, and it probably will hold that title for the rest of the year
It,
for
yeah.
stupid reasons, in my opinion. But
Oh, hella stupid reasons. Hella stupid reasons.
yeah,
It's just people hating on LGBTQ people.
yeah, that's part of it. That's definitely part
Why?
of it. And we could have a whole podcast talking about that for sure,
I know.
about that game and why it's so controversial. But no, what I've been playing, I just beat Paper Mario: The Origami King. I'm actually editing my video for it now. That game was so good, man. Just such a
Oh,
great game.
I saw that, and there was some heartbreaking twist that happened in there.
Yeah, there's a
No
couple of
spoilers.
yeah, no
Yeah.
spoilers. There's a couple of moments in that game that I was like, damn, Nintendo. I was like, damn, this is a Mario game. What? But
Shit.
yeah, no, it's a great game, man. I enjoyed every moment. It took me I don't have my playtime yet, but I want to say between 25 and 30 hours. So it's a pretty beefy game.
Oh
It's about
yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 length, roughly.
Oh hell yeah.
So yeah, I finished that. I just beat an indie game called Sparklight. It's kind of like a roguelike Zelda game, and
Hmm.
that game was a lot of fun. Started on another indie game called Children of Morta. Pretty interesting game. It's sort of like Diablo. It's sort of like a roguelike Diablo, but without loot. It's pretty interesting. I'm digging it so far.
Nice.
I've been playing a game on the GameCube called Geist, a first-person shooter on the GameCube that a lot of people don't know about. It was
No.
developed by Nintendo, so it's a first-person shooter developed by Nintendo, and it's got a mature rating.
Oh
So
yeah.
this was an unprecedented game during that generation for Nintendo to be developing not only a first-person shooter, but a mature rated first-person shooter. But it's a really cool game, man. You're a ghost and you can possess objects and animals and people. When you possess people, that's when the first person shooter aspect comes in. But in order to possess somebody,
Hmm.
you have to scare them enough first to be able to possess them. So you might possess a telephone pole and a telephone and make it ring, and then when they come over to it to pick it up, you might make a voice come out of it without them even picking it up to scare them, and then you might jump out of the telephone, jump into a trash can and make it shake, and when they go to the trash can, you might make some trash pop out of it. And then once you scare them enough, you can possess them and navigate through the level as a possess. Dude, it's a really cool game.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Now let
It
me
is.
ask you,
Mhm.
how do you decide out of all the games that you have, how do you decide what to focus your time and energy on when you want to play a game
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So typically, I'm playing three different games. Um,
at once?
yeah, three different games at once, and I alternate between them. So I'm usually playing at least one console game, like like major console game, whether it's something new or something old on the GameCube.
Hmm.
And then I'm usually always playing at least one indie game on my Nintendo Switch Lite. I use my Switch Lite for indie games and smaller games
Nice.
like that. So I'm usually playing it because I love indie games. I like to support indie games, so I'm usually playing at least one indie game.
Yeah.
But man, as far as deciding, it's there's no rhyme or reason to it, really. I mean,
The struggle is real.
the struggle is real. It really is. Like I had to decide between Paper Mario and Ghosts of Tsushima or Tsushima, however the hell it's
Oh, the
pronounced.
Ghost of Tsushima on
Yeah, yeah,
PS4.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I
you
am
got
gonna
that,
buy
huh?
that game. I am gonna buy that game.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I decided on
Knowing
Paper
you, you
Mario.
probably already have it.
No, not yet, not yet. I almost stopped at Walmart and bought it the other day, though. I almost did.
Oh,
Yeah, I came close, but I'm fixing to start. I bought Color Mario, Paper Mario Color Splash on the Wii U. I bought that because I've never played that. That's the only Paper Mario game I've never played.
I have that one.
So I'm
You'll
gonna
like it.
start. Yeah, I'm gonna start on that game soon because I love Paper Mario and I want to experience and find out why that game was so controversial. Because that was another game that was pretty controversial amongst a vocal minority of fans,
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's because they didn't like the battle system. It's a whole thing. But I'm gonna dig into that. I'm gonna make a video on it. I've decided. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
So what are there any games that are coming out in the near future that you're looking forward to?
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk.
Yes,
I think that
yes.
that game looks phenomenal.
That's my
It's
most
got
anticipated game right now.
Yeah, it's got I like the theme of the
Hmm.
Cyberpunk, and it's got Keanu Reeves in it. I mean,
Yes.
come on, right?
Yup.
Keanu Reeves,
Yup.
dude. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the new Halo,
Yeah, it
Halo,
looks sweet,
Halo
dude.
Quantum.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of hate here and there online
Hmm.
about Xbox, but I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I do too.
Um, there. What else am I looking forward to? Um, Senua's Sacrifice 2.
I've never played the first one. Is it good?
Oh, it's crazy
Really?
good. Crazy immersive.
Hmm.
It's just a game that's a game that you must play with your headphones on.
That's what I hear.
I didn't,
Hmm.
but everybody else should. And the only reason that I didn't do it is because where I play my game
Hmm.
at the time when I was playing it, I didn't have any headphones.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, but no, that game is cool. I want to see a good part two.
It's
Now,
pretty short game too, right? The first one like 7 hours or something like that.
yeah. It's not too bad. It's
Yeah.
not too bad. Um, I really want to see a new Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yes, yes.
I
I
don't
saw
care.
your
I
tweet
don't,
the other day.
dude. I don't care what
Hmm.
Nintendo has to do. Yes, Mike Tyson has made mistakes in the past.
Hmm.
Yes, he's kind of douchey, but come on, man. We want to see a new Mike Tyson Punch Out
Hmm.
game, and we want to see a new Metroid.
That's coming. That's
Definitely want
coming.
to see a new
Hmm.
Metroid. So I want to see those two.
I'm
Um,
gonna throw it out here right now. I think there's gonna be a new 2D Metroid either this year or next year. A new 2D Metroid, and of
so do
course,
you think
Metroid
that?
Prime 4 is coming.
So will that be on the 3DS that's coming,
I
or
think
on the
it'll be on the
Switch?
Switch. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's been a lot of rumors, substantiated rumors, to suggest that a new 2D Metroid is far into development.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
Let's hope for it. Let's
yeah.
hope for it because that is one of the franchises that needs to make an appearance
Hmm.
in this console
Hmm. It will.
generation.
I have
It-
no doubt about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see all of that. So the PlayStation exclusives, I think the new Horizon
Hmm.
Zero Dawn looks very promising.
Yes.
I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know. Is Rockstar gonna finally update Grand Theft Auto? I want to see that.
I know they're working on Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, they've probably been working on it for years now. Because I mean, it probably takes them 5 or more years to develop a Grand Theft Auto game, I would say.
Oh yeah, because they put so much shit in it. It's
Hmm.
like, damn.
Yup.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the next mini game is wipe your ass and
Yup.
sterilize your fingers so you don't get COVID-19.
Oh, don't put
It's
that
like,
idea out there, man. They'll do it. You
they'll
know they
fucking do
will.
it. Yeah, no, they'll do it. Yeah, and I want to see the new Valhalla, the Assassin's Creed
Hmm.
Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nothing but the best is going to be coming out, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games to look forward to,
Yeah.
no doubt. I think out of everything, the one I'm most excited for is definitely Cyberpunk. There's Sometimes there's a game that releases where I'll actually take off work to make sure I can binge play it, and I'll
Yeah.
make sure that I plan stuff and get stuff caught up in my life to where I can just sit there and binge play it, and that's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
It's going to be one of these games. I think if this game is successful enough,
Hmm.
I think that we're going to see a franchise forming in Xbox land. And so
Hmm.
hopefully they get their act together and, you know, we get a handle on COVID-19 because I think it
Hmm.
was delayed simply because of COVID-19.
I would say so. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to have to see what happens, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm excited for whatever Nintendo is going to be releasing for the rest of the year because we still don't know yet. I would imagine we're gonna know what they're going to be releasing for the rest of the year sometime in August, I would say,
Yeah.
is that we'll finally find out. Maybe
Well,
even
well, well,
sooner.
well, let me ask you this. They recently had an event.
Hmm.
It was a Nintendo Direct Mini.
Yeah, it was a partner. It was a new thing they called the Partner Showcase. So it was just them showing off some games that are coming out from some of their third-party partners. So third-party
Okay.
companies that they kind of partner with on projects.
What did you think of that? Were you impressed?
I mean, it was okay. I would have rather have seen a bunch of first-party stuff, but it was all right. It had a few cool things in it, like that wrestling game actually looks pretty sweet.
Hmm.
And I've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game. I've never played a game in that series. I don't really know anything about that. I mean, it has a pretty solid fan base. I know that. Um, I don't know that it's going to be my type of game, but for what it was okay. It was like 8 minutes, and they talked about 4 games and a DLC.
Yeah.
So it was something. It was at least some news for some games,
Yeah. Yeah. But of course, the haters were out in full force,
dude.
talking shit.
Dude, a lot of Nintendo fans online are just the shittiest, most toxic fans I've ever seen in any fan base. And it makes me
Oh,
mad. As a Nintendo fan, it makes me mad to see that, man. And I can't
yeah.
imagine what Nintendo thinks whenever every time they tweet something, everybody's just like, give me a fucking Nintendo Direct. You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous, dude.
Dude, I don't get where all this anger comes from such a positive, kind of fun hobby,
It's crazy, man.
and it's like, it's the same thing with the PS4 and the
Hmm.
Xbox. When
Yep.
they made their showcases, everyone was talking
Yep.
shit.
Exactly.
People just want to talk shit.
Hmm.
But I just look at it and I'm just like, yeah, we're getting some new
Hmm.
games, right?
Yep.
And it's just like,
Yep.
I don't see anything to complain about. I mean,
Yep.
if they didn't have an event where they were showcasing new games, I'd be like, what the fuck, right?
Yep.
Where are all our new games? We want to play some new
Hmm.
stuff. And so, yeah, I can't hate on that.
Well, you remember earlier when I mentioned the pros and cons of the internet? Well, there's one of your cons right there. All these toxic, negative people that just can't be happy. They can never be happy. They always have to find something to complain about or bitch about.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I think gets under my skin more than anything is when people act like they don't have games to play. That is the most
Right,
ridiculous thing. As many
dude.
games as come out on all the consoles, on PC, on cell phones, there's always something to play, man. Always.
Oh, dude, I do not want to know the size of your backlog, but my backlog is probably 1/100th of yours, dude.
Well, the entire
And,
GameCube library is in my backlog, so
oh no, shit. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like we have things to play.
oh yeah. Yeah.
It's just crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I
don't
think I
get it.
think we're probably making up for lost time though, right? Because
Hmm.
as kids, we didn't have all the means to buy games.
That's
That
true.
wasn't our priority. So as
That's true.
adults now, we have disposable income. We take care
Hmm.
of business, our bills, and whatever, right?
Yep.
And now we have money for games. Now,
Yep.
we
Man,
we
what's funny to me, Los, is a lot of younger people these days and younger generations that are kind of grown up as gamers during, let's say the PS2 era, or no, let's say the PS3 era and forward, right?
yeah.
I don't think a lot of them know what it was like for like me and you, because like back whenever me and you grew up playing games, like you get a game, and even if that game sucks, you're gonna play the hell out of it. You're gonna try to
Hell
get as
yeah.
much time out of that game as you possibly can,
Yeah,
even
because
if
you
it
know what?
sucks.
Yeah, because you know what? The next game that you're gonna get is probably next year on your birthday
Mm-hmm.
or on Christmas
Yup.
or
Yup.
when your grandparents visit or whatever.
Yup.
So it's not like you can get a deal of the week
Mm-hmm.
and shell out $15. No, man, the games cost $60
Mm-hmm.
and up. And so yeah, it's like, and at that time when we were growing up, there wasn't a thrift store market.
Right.
Everyone would buy their games. They would
Mm-hmm.
keep their games. You weren't turning them into thrift stores.
Right.
I mean, I go to the thrift store now. and I seen mountains of games, dude.
Mm-hmm.
These are games that each of them at one time or another cost $59, and
Yep.
here we are getting them for $2 each. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't what we grew up with at
Nope.
all, and
Nope.
so that's yeah, it's mind blowing
Mm-hmm.
how the the game economy, especially the retro game economy,
Mm-hmm.
has evolved.
Yes, big time, big time. But
Yeah,
yeah, man, when I think back about games that I played whenever I was a kid, there were so many shitty games that I played, but
yeah,
I would figure out a way to have fun with those games and squeeze. Like a good example on the GameCube, I'm just kind of glancing at it. Die Hard Vendetta on the GameCube. That is a really bad first-person shooter. But when I was
yeah,
younger, when I was a teenager, I got that game and I played the hell out of it because I didn't have much else to play. So like I took this shitty first person shooter and I found a way to have fun with it and squeeze as much time as I could out of it, you know. And I feel like a
yeah.
lot of people in newer generations, they don't have that experience, you know what I mean?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the attention spans and all of the other distractions. I mean,
Yep.
we got cell phones to distract us, we got
Mhm.
Netflix to distract us, Hulu Plus, readily available porn,
Mhm.
you name it. That
Yep.
shit is going to distract you from putting
Mhm.
time into a shitty game,
Yep.
you
You're
know.
right.
And with things like Xbox Game Pass and the PS4
Mhm.
online service, I
Mhm.
always forget the name of it. Um,
PS4 Gold or something, I think.
I
PS
don't know.
Gold, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's if you don't like a game, move on to the next one.
Yep.
We couldn't do that when we were younger, and so
Mhm.
technology has really afforded us this vast library of
Mhm.
games that we never had as a kid, and
Plus,
that's good. I mean, I
oh
love
yeah,
it. I
oh yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah. But
absolutely.
what is the shittiest game that you bought as a kid that everybody hates, but you still kind of have nostalgia and affinity for it?
Hmm, that's a good question, man. I'm gonna have to kind of glance at my GameCube collection because I know it's probably gonna be a GameCube game.
All right,
Oh
think about
man.
that, and I'm going to tell you mine.
Okay.
The game that I think is a fun game
Mm-hmm.
that gets a lot of hate and it's not worth a lot of money. You can pick it up for $5.
Mm-hmm.
Is The Adventures of Bayou Billy?
Yeah, I played that one. Yeah, I've got it back there.
It is tough as
Mm-hmm.
nails.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I love about it is, number one, you get to be like a Crocodile Dundee kind of
Mm-hmm.
dude. It's a beat 'em up. You didn't see too many beat 'em ups on the NES
That's
back in
true.
the day. And so that's what I love about it. And the other thing I love about that game is that you combine beat 'em up stages with driving stages
Mm-hmm.
and light gun stages. That's something you never saw in any NES
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
that's, I beat the game back in the day. Could I
Whew.
beat it today? Could I beat it today? Probably,
Mm-hmm.
probably. If I put time in it, but who
Right.
has time to play?
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of these shitty games that people are always begging about, um, and just maybe because it's too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I gotta figure out what mine is. Um, hmm. Just kind of doing a scan of my GameCube collection. I'm sure something will pop out at me.
What
Uh,
about that Die Hard game you were talking about?
eh, nah, nah. That game sucks, dude. Like I'm working on doing some footage for a video that's required me to play some GameCube first person shooters, and that was one of them. So I played it recently, and it's a
It's still
bad
bad.
game, man. Man, I don't know, Los. That's a off the top of my head, nothing's really sticking out to me.
Hey, I just
Um,
gave you a good video idea though.
that's true.
Some games that
Hmm.
people hated but you love.
That's true. That's true. I'll have to think about that one, man. I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, I know there's gonna be more than one, for sure. Uh, I wish I could think of one right now, but I just can't. Just can't. My mind is going blank.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let's jump into the next big topic because I wanted to talk to you about this because I find this to be a very fascinating topic, and it's a really deep topic that you could really dig into a lot, is like the psychology of it, or the reason behind it. But that topic is the stigma behind people that play games, gamers, the stigma that people that don't play games in society have, the way that they view gamers, the way that they see gamers. And it's different now than it was when me and you were growing up, right? When me and you were
Mhm.
growing up, it was a hell of a lot worse. Like, back then, at least in my experience back then, if you were a gamer, if you played video games, you were pretty much labeled a nerd,
That's right.
and yeah, and or wasting your time or rotting your brain out, which of course we know now with actually evidence, scientific evidence, that that's absolute BS. Video games can actually be really, really good for your brain as far as problem solving and stuff like that goes. But that stigma still exists today, not as much as it used to, but it still exists today. But I wanted to kind of ask you what your experience has been, from the time you started games to now, even, as an adult man, with playing video games, and kind of people you've ran into that have maybe criticized you for it because they're not a gamer and they don't understand it. I just wanted to kind of touch on that topic a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, having video games for us growing up in my neighborhood, it was like really, it was a big deal because a lot of the kids that we grew up with didn't have video games, and the
Mm-hmm.
ones that did were the man. We would go to their house. They were awesome. We would find any excuse to go to their house to play like Super Mario Brothers and Kung Fu and Excite Bike and all of that stuff. And so, especially like when the Nintendo came out,
Mm-hmm.
everybody wanted one. Everybody wanted one. And I think that attitude of you being like a nerd um, kind of started softening
Mm-hmm.
because it was a cool toy.
Mm-hmm.
And especially us as kids, we wanted one. They would blast commercials about the Nintendo all the time, and we would definitely want a piece of that action. And so I was always one to uh, play video games throughout my whole life. Started with the Atari 2600, evolved to the Coleco and the Commodore 64, to the Nintendo. Well, first to the Sega Master System, then to the Nintendo, and all the way up. And throughout the time that I have played video games, I had actually never experienced anyone like criticizing me for playing them. I always tended to flock to people that like the things that I like. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I would have friends and we would hang out, play video games. So childhood was great, right? The other thing that video games did for me personally is it kept me out of trouble. It kept me out of gangs, uh, because rather than go out and get in trouble and drink 40s and break into houses like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my friends were doing, fighting with rival gangs,
Mm-hmm.
I would stay home because I would rather play games and be all up in trouble. And so that's one thing that like video games did for me.
I never even thought about that. Video games potentially keeping somebody from entering a potential life of crime, or getting into that sort of thing. But you're right. You're right. Unfortunately, it didn't help me when I was younger. I got in trouble all the damn time. But
Yeah,
I can definitely see what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. And so it's not until an adult, when you get into adulthood, that stigma just it blows up
Mm-hmm.
because people like to judge
Yeah.
other people so
Yeah.
badly, and maybe because they're miserable in their lives, maybe
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have something that brings them the joy that we get
Mm-hmm.
when we buy games or we play games or we talk about games.
Mm-hmm.
And but I've thought about this quite a bit. I'm a grown man. I still play video games.
Mm-hmm.
I still buy toys,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay because these
Mm-hmm.
are things that I love.
Yep.
And I often wondered, like, should I be doing this? Um, I'm old. Just like, why the fuck am I still playing video
Mm-hmm.
games? And, like, nobody's playing video games at my age, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then you find out that you're wrong,
Yep, exactly.
that you're fucking dead wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because you go on YouTube, you go on Twitter, you go on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. There's groups everywhere that love what you love,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that, that stigma is always going to be there, and it's going to exist because people love to judge other people.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they don't have anything in their lives that they love.
Right.
And so if you don't have love in your heart and your home, you're going to come
Mm-hmm.
with that bullshit
Yes.
about you know us being gamers at our age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so I've got a lot of thoughts that I want to get out here and kind of get your thoughts on them too. So, one thing is, I like what you said. So I think, and I've said this before several times, but I'll keep saying it as many times as I have to, because I think it's an important thing for people to realize. I truly think, and I think there's actually, if you go out and do some research, there's probably some studies that have been done on this, some actual research studies. But I think that the older that we get, I think it's even more important to stay connected to our childhood the older that we get. Whether it's with collecting toys or playing video games or whatever, doing something that you did
Hmm.
when you were a kid. Because I think if we stay connected to our childhood, I honestly think it's going to keep us a little bit healthier, a little bit mentally happier, and even maybe
Yeah,
help us not age as much. You know what I mean?
that's a great point.
Hmm.
I mean, it's going to bring us joy.
Yes.
When you play video games, there are certain chemicals that get released,
Hmm.
in your brain.
Exactly.
Those chemicals are the pleasure chemicals,
Yep.
and it's good to have those in your
Hmm.
system. And so,
Hmm.
I know not only that, but just like the cognitive,
Hmm.
you got to keep your cognitive skills up.
Yes.
And video games help you with hand-eye coordination,
Big time.
memorization,
Hmm.
shit, you name it, man.
Hmm.
Video games are a big help.
Yep. You're right. You're right. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that because of all the video games that I've played in my life, I really think that they had a positive impact on my ability to solve problems, my ability
Yeah.
to work puzzles, my ability to figure out solutions to things, my ability to have logic. I think that they really do help with all that stuff. I mean, I know that they do. I don't think that they do. I know that they do because you can go online right now and find tons and tons of research, like actual studies and research that have been done that actually prove that video games can have a positive cognitive impact on your brain.
Hmm.
It's just people don't want to take the time to look into it.
Hmm.
But here's something that kind of really drives me crazy, Los, is when people say, "Oh, you play games all the time. You're really wasting your life away, or you're really wasting time." But you know what I find to be funny and ironic? These same people, not all of them, granted, well, maybe with another thing, but these same people will turn around and when they get off work, watch reality TV shows for 3 or 4 hours a damn night. What's
Shit.
the difference? That's actually, to me, that's worse than playing video games because you're just watching junk. Sure, some of it's entertaining. I mean, there's no denying that some of it is entertaining, but what's it? It's how is it in? Is it enhancing your life in any way? It just drives me crazy when people say that you're wasting your time by playing video games, but then they'll turn around and do their hobby for 3 or 4 hours. Like their hobby might even be, you know, maybe they go fishing, which
Yeah.
nothing there's, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going fishing. I'm just using that as an example. Somebody might look at that and think they're wasting their time. Like you're just catching fish, throwing them back in the water. What's the point in that? Well, the point is they enjoy it. It brings them joy. It makes them happy. It gives them something to do. And it's the same with video games. It brings us joy, like you said, makes us
Hmm.
happy, gives us something to do. But on top of that, it's a form of entertainment. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize, Los, a lot of people, dude, I guarantee you, if you asked people, if you just went around to people you know and you asked them, of all the types of entertainment out there, what entertainment industry do you think brings in the most money? They're probably going to say movies
Mhm.
or movies and TV shows, which of course is incorrect. What a lot of people don't realize is that the video game industry makes more money than every single form of
Oh,
entertainment.
it's huge.
Music, movies, everything. Video games make far more money than any of them.
It's huge.
It,
Absolutely. There are. Yeah, I mean that's an undisputable fact.
mm-hmm.
Is that video games are the number one form of entertainment.
Yep.
To speak to the point that you made, I think everything. I think there's room for playing video
Mm-hmm.
games and doing whatever else you like to do.
Yep.
Um, it's all balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's all a balance.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, if you're watching, too much reality TV, or
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing anything that's very, very excessive, it's not healthy for you, right? I mean,
That's
there have
true.
been stories of people like in Japan playing for like 3 days straight,
Yeah,
4 days
dude.
straight
Yeah.
without any sleep, and they like
Mm-hmm.
die. It's like
Mm-hmm.
shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You
you're.
know, go get a burrito or something. It's like
I don't know. They probably don't have burritos in Japan.
go get some sushi or some
Hey,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think everything is moderation.
Yep.
I try to game a couple hours every night,
Mm-hmm.
and that's after everything is done,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
when it's dark,
Mm-hmm.
we're about to go to bed in a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours, and I'll that's the time that I play, and then I play on the weekends
Mm-hmm.
when I'm not doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was little, I used to play all night, and I would pull all nighters,
Because you
and
didn't have many responsibilities.
yeah, absolutely. But as adults, we don't have
Mm-hmm.
time to play games all
Yep.
the time.
Yep. You're right.
So I think that a lot of the perception of
Mm-hmm.
if you're a gamer, that's all you do. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, motherfucker, I do more than fucking play games. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just because I love something doesn't mean I'm gonna do it 24 hours of 7 days a week.
Yes.
So you know what
Yep.
I say fuck them, and I mean
Yeah.
that in the most nicest way
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right, man. That definitely is probably part of the stigma is people's perception is that they think that that's all you do with your life. But
Yeah.
like you said, with just like with any hobby, you have to do it in moderation. You can't let it rule your life because you have most people, a vast majority of people have other responsibilities that they have,
Yeah.
whether it's a family or pets or work or taking care
Yeah.
of your house or taking care of your lawn.
Or family,
Yeah.
you got some family.
Yep.
I got family. Gamers have families.
Yep.
I think that also as YouTubers it's really easy
Mm-hmm.
for people to forget that we're real fucking people.
Exactly.
Okay, we have real lives.
Mm-hmm.
We have real thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
real fears, just like everybody else does. Uh, and it's easy to forget that, and
Yep.
it's easy to do that because you're behind your computer and you're
Mm-hmm.
typing your comment, and it might not come across. You might not try to be a dick when you do the
Mm-hmm.
comment, but you're being a dick. Um, and it's just really,
Mm-hmm.
really easy for people to forget that we are real people
Yes.
and we're gamers at the same time.
Yep. Yep. You are right.
Yeah.
So there's two more things I want to mention that drive me crazy, right? One of them is so these people that don't play games that have this stigma, that have this perception and this viewpoint. One of the things that drives me crazy is the people that think that just because you're a gamer that you're a super nerd. And when I say super nerd, I mean like and if anybody out there listening is like this, please know that I'm not making fun of you. But I'm talking about the people that are like I'm gonna bust out my nerd voice. You ready? I'm talking
Yeah.
about the people that are like, you beat me at Magic the Gathering. I'm gonna flip over the fucking table. I'm so mad. You know, those are the kind of, that's, to me, that's a super nerd. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I want to stress, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of people that are not gamers, they think that if you play video games, you're a big nerd. And I mean, we are nerds to a degree, right? But I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
nerd kind of has this negative connotation to it because you can be a nerd and still be a normal, cool person without the without being a stereotypical nerd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
He built a computer on its own,
yeah.
and he plays The Witcher, and he is actually The Witcher in the Netflix
Hmm.
series.
Yep.
And is he a nerd? No, he's a Hollywood star, man. Um, I think all of us have a little nerd
Oh
in
yeah,
us. We
yeah.
don't want to admit it,
Right.
but I think we all do. I mean, uh, anybody who would read comic books back in the
Hmm.
day, especially in the 80s, was a
Hmm.
nerd. You're a
Yep.
comic book nerd.
Hmm.
Now look at us. We're watching Marvel movies.
Hmm.
We're watching the new Spider-Man, the
Yes.
new, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
People love that stuff. And,
Hmm.
uh, you know, everybody's a nerd. There's degrees to nerdship,
There is
right?
degrees. You are right
There's
about that.
there's the dude that you just talked about
Hmm.
who is maybe a little bit more of a nerd than, say,
Hmm.
for example, Henry Cavill, um,
I have a
uh,
funny story for you when you're done.
and Olivia Munn.
Hmm.
People like that. It's like,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so I actually have not talked about this yet, surprisingly. Now, I got to be kind of vague because it's something that happened on the set of the Game Chasers movie, so I have to be kind of vague. I can't go into a whole lot of detail about it, but it was my last day. It was my fourth day on set, my last day on set, and that day they needed a bunch of extras for a particular scene, and I'm not going to talk about what the scene is because I can't. Um,
Right. Okay.
but because I'm sort of like I didn't sign an NDA, but like Billy is trusting me not to talk about
Oh
it.
yeah. No,
You
I
know what I mean?
understand. It's all good.
Um, but this particular scene, they needed a bunch of nerds. They needed a bunch of extras to be nerds. So they put out an ad on social media saying, "We need a lot of extras, nerd. We need people to come in as nerds uh, for this scene that we're filming." So, dude, the guys that came, every single one of them was your stereotypical nerd. Like you're just, every when you think of every stereotype you've ever heard of with the
Yeah.
word that goes along with the word nerd, these guys were that. These guys were legit, like they were perfect for this scene, man. And but what was funny is there were a couple of younger females on the crew. They were production assistants, and they're really nice girls. And when I say younger, they're legal, but they're pretty young. They were pretty
Hmm.
nice girls, and and since they were nice girls, of course, they engaged in conversation with some of the nerds. Dude, I kid you not, man. I kid you not. Because these girls were actually talking to them and having conversations with them. They literally flocked these girls around, just flocked around them, man, wanting to talk to them. It was just like when you feed birds, when you throw breadcrumbs out to a group of birds and they just swarm it,
Wow.
man. And it was so funny, dude. But yeah,
Wow.
these guys, they were legit, man. And a couple of them were actually kind of inconsiderate because when you're on if you're on a movie set and they're filming, everybody in the crew and everybody on the cast that's not in the scene being filmed, you have to be absolutely quiet. You cannot make a sound because those microphones, they pick up everything.
Oh shit. Yeah. I bet.
Yeah, but there were a couple of those extras that were not in the scene, but they were off in another part of the building having conversation really loud, and they had to stop filming a couple of times because of it. And
Damn.
at one point, Jay got on him, man. He wasn't mean, but he was firm. You know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
firm. He kind of let him know. But he didn't do it in a mean way because Jay's super nice guy. But he did let them know, you guys got to be quiet. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, that. when you're at a production like that, it's like you said, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
respectful, and it's not going to cut it for you to be
Yeah.
jabbing and chatting and
Mm-hmm.
gabbing right when they're trying to film a movie.
Yeah.
Time is money,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're doing a movie, and so yeah,
Yes.
I can
Yep.
totally see that.
But yeah, man, these guys, dude, I wish you could have seen it. These guys were legit. And you will see it whenever you see the movie and you
Yeah,
see the scene. When the movie comes out, I'll tell you what scene I'm talking about. But you'll probably know without me even telling you, honestly.
yeah,
But yeah, these guys were legit, man. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. But yeah, that's one thing that does drive me crazy, though, is people that automatically assume that because you play video games that you're a stereotypical nerd, because that's just not the case. Like, I mean, just look at Robert and Wes from Gaming Off the Grid, two of the coolest dudes, man.
I know, and they're rock stars,
Yeah, they're
man.
rock stars, man,
And so it's like,
and they love video games, dude.
yeah, they do, and there's a
You
lot
know,
of other people out there who are,
Danny Trejo plays Animal Crossing. Did you know that,
I did not know that.
dude?
I
Yeah, Danny
Yeah.
Trejo plays the new Animal Crossing game, and he loves it, man.
Oh, all the rappers, they all play video games.
Yep,
Ice-T plays video games. Snoop
yep,
Dogg plays video
yep,
games.
yep,
Exhibit, all of those guys play video games.
yep.
So I
So,
mean, there ain't no shame in
nah.
my game. I think I'm comfortable in my skin. I
Oh
think
yeah,
a lot of other gamers are too.
the stigma's
Especially,
going away. The stigma
yeah,
is going away.
yeah. I know it is going away. I think, and that's for the better, because
Mm-hmm.
you just have to be who you are. You can't let people
Mm-hmm.
fuck with
Mm-hmm.
that,
Yep.
because they'll gotta stay true to yourself, and trust that you know what's best for you. Don't try to
Yes.
conform to what people think that you should act like. Fuck them.
Exactly.
They're not in your skin.
Do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And well, as
Mind
long as
your
it's not something illegal.
right. Mind your own business, and
Hmm.
go do some basket weaving or whatever it is the fuck you do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, no, I do feel like the stigma's definitely going away, and I think part of that is because the video game industry is so huge, and also I think part of that is because of the fact that a lot of modern day AAA games are these just massive, just super immersive experiences that are almost like playing a movie, basically like The Last of Us Part 2. It's like you're
Yeah.
playing a 20 to 30 hour interactive movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So a lot of these newer games are just, they're experiences that you cannot get from watching a movie or a TV show. A TV show, you can get it a little bit more if it's a show that's like a continuous story, but like,
Yeah.
so these, I think that's helped with the stigma, but also the fact that there are a lot of celebrities and high profile people that publicly play video games, so I think that helps. Tell you
Yeah.
something cool, man. My wife's grandfather, he's in his late 60s. He's going on 70. A super cool guy, man. He was in the Vietnam War, and he's just a super super cool guy. But he loves video games, man. But he
That's
sticks
awesome.
with, yeah, he sticks with the PlayStation 2, OG Xbox era, and his thing is war games. But he also loves Tomb Raider. So he likes war games and racing games. So he likes war games, racing games, and Tomb Raider. That's kind of his thing, man.
That's kind of funny. We have that in common, because
Oh yeah,
my father-in-law also likes video games.
nice.
He loves Pac-Man, and he loves pinball. He's got, in the backyard of their house, he's got a pinball machine. It's a Playboy pinball machine.
Hmm.
He has NF Capcom versus Street Fighter machine back there. He's got a pool
Nice,
table. Yeah, he loves doing that. So that's, and he's also a Vietnam veteran.
nice,
it's
nice.
it's it's funny. It's funny.
But another thing that I wanted to say that makes the whole stigma behind being a gamer silly, and I've thought about making a video about this at some point, turning it into a video topic, but if you think about it, video games are the ultimate form of art and entertainment. And I say that because a video game, in most cases, includes literally every form of art, man.
Yeah,
Music, original music, story, acting, um, literal art that people create from scratch.
yeah,
Um, uh, uh, script writing. I mean, just about every form of art you can think of is in a video game. So that to me makes it the ultimate art form because it's an art form that takes every art form and combines it into an interactive experience.
Yeah,
And I think a
that's
lot of people don't really think about that. Like if you think about all the amazing music that's created for video games, all the amazing art, some of the talented voice acting that gets done, some of the amazing stories, it's really
oh,
incredible.
it is, and it is the only form of media, I think, that is a total uh,
Hmm.
immersive experience.
Hmm.
It puts you in a different world, and for many of the reasons that you stated, that's the only form of media that does that. I mean, okay, so when you're watching a movie, you're sitting there, you're watching a movie, and you're probably thinking to yourself, "Damn, Rambo is man, he's kicking some ass right now." Or whoever, Iron Man's kicking some ass, or Rocky's just kicked the shit out of Ivan Drago. Well, what if I told you that you could be Rocky or you could
Hmm.
be Rambo? You know, would you rather watch Rambo
Hmm.
kick some ass, or would you rather kick some fucking ass as Rambo?
Exactly.
And that's what
Hmm.
video games do, man.
Yep.
They immerse you into that
Hmm.
world.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I agree with that.
Yep. Yep. You're right. Yeah. It's just, and again, I think that's something a lot of people don't really think about is the fact that video games literally have pretty much every form of art contained within them. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I thought about making a video about that. That would be a pretty difficult video to make because I would almost have to write like an essay. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
I mean, you definitely have enough inventory to pull out, 4 or 5 of those games
yeah.
and talk about their art styles.
Yep.
One of my favorite, one recent, really just beautiful game, just beautiful, is Ori and the Will
Oh
of the
yeah. I
Wisps.
haven't played that one, but I played the first one and it was
Oh,
beautiful too.
dude, it's like wow,
Hmm.
it's like you're playing a work of art. It's like
Yes, it's like almost it's like you're playing a watercolored painting or something, man. It's
yeah,
gorgeous.
it's just like you're in awe,
Hmm.
And The Last of Us 2. Did you
Hmm.
that? It's giving me a couple of nights of just zombie dreams, dude. I swear
It's
to God,
dude, that game's
and
intense, man.
it's because you're immersed in this
Hmm.
world, and the sound. There's no sound,
I
and
played
it's
with
dark.
headphones too.
Yeah, and it's dark. And you
Hmm.
got your flashlight. You're scanning shit around.
Yeah, that
Next thing
game's
you
intense,
know,
man.
you hear a fucking
Or a freaking or a clicker.
or a clicker.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
oh shit! It's like, it's you can't get that from a movie, bro,
Nope.
or a song. It's
Nope.
just like so you make some. You're spot on with that.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely an interesting thing to think about. And I wish more people were aware of that. I just don't think even gamers. I think a lot of gamers don't even realize how much art is actually contained in a video game. So it's
Yeah,
something that I wish more people would acknowledge and realize. I think I know that there's the video game awards that have been going on the last few years with Jeff Keighley in December, but I feel like there should be more like prestigious award ceremonies for video games, kind of like the Grammys and the Oscars and all that, all the Golden Globes and
yeah,
all that crap. There
yeah.
really should be more of that for video. I feel like video games should get more recognition than they do for the amount of work. Because, dude, more work goes into a video game than goes into a movie, a AAA video games.
Yeah.
Like, a good example would be I mean, let's just take The Last of Us Part 2, for example. Naughty Dog, I'm pretty sure, I think it took them like 7 years to develop that game, man.
Yeah, it took him a long time, dude.
What movie have you ever heard of that took 7 years to make? I don't even know that there is one,
I
you
I
know?
know.
I
I
mean,
don't know. I don't think there is.
so much work and money goes into a video game, and not just AAA video games, indie games too. double A games, whatever you want to call them. There's
Yeah.
just so much work that goes into them, man. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, especially some of the people online that complain and bitch about stuff. They don't seem to really think about how much work has to go into a video. It's not an easy thing to make.
Yeah, and I'm probably guilty of that too, because when I play video game, I kind of just play the game.
Yeah.
I don't really think about
Hmm.
much of anything else. And so yes, I am personally guilty of that. uh, but I can, I definitely know that these guys uh, are very talented
Hmm.
and make these masterpieces that we
Hmm.
get to play.
Yes.
And what is not to love about that?
Yes.
Um, Cliff Blazinski
Oh
and
yeah.
Shigehiro Miyamoto.
Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto. Yep.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
He is a
Um,
legend.
Dude, these guys are just
Hmm.
they've changed our lives, man.
Corey Barlog. You know who he is?
No, who is that?
Corey Barlog is the main the lead designer of the new God of War game.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Another
Okay.
another one is Michael Ansel. Michael Ansel is the lead game designer behind the Rayman series, Beyond Good and Evil, and a few other games. He is a
Yeah.
brilliant game designer. There's some really, really talented, brilliant people out there in this industry, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's tons of talented people out there,
Hmm.
and tons of them studying this.
Hmm.
A little known fact is that I wanted to be a game developer, a game programmer, going through college, and I just couldn't cut it. I said to myself, I like playing video games
Hmm.
more than I think I would like sitting down and making
Hmm.
them. So
Yeah.
I said, you know what, F this, and I stopped studying that.
Yeah.
Um, Now, had I had gone through that path, maybe I would have worked at Microsoft
Hmm.
or PS4, Sony, or
Hmm.
Nintendo, or wherever. I don't regret it though, because I still maintain that. I want to be the one who plays it, not the one who makes it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. So, do you have any other final thoughts or anything to add about the stigma topic behind video games?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too.
With the basic notion that you just have to stay true to yourself, and
Exactly.
don't let the noise ever change who you are.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So, I wanted to get into something else with you, man, because I don't think we've ever talked about this, and I don't. You may have talked about it in a video before, whether it's one of your videos or a collab. I'm not 100% sure. But I wanted to ask you, so what was your motivation behind starting the YouTube channel? What kind of led to you dipping your toes into the world of
And
YouTube?
I was and still am a big fan of the big YouTubers,
Mm-hmm.
the Game Chasers,
Mm-hmm.
Game Sack,
Mm-hmm.
Angry Video Game Nerd. Um, Used to watch all those guys just religiously,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I found myself just watching YouTube rather than watching regular TV. And so, I thought, well, these guys look like me. They kind of act like me when I'm with my friends too.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out hunting games, and I've
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that a long time without a camera following me. And so,
Right.
if I had to choose one particular larger channel that really inspired me, it would be GameSack, because GameSack is one of these channels that is just, the production value
Mm-hmm.
is just phenomenal,
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal, and the subject matter. They are so knowledgeable
Mm-hmm.
about the games that they talk about, and they're funny at the same time. They do these skits at the end of their videos, and it's very smart, because they make you watch their whole video just so
Mm-hmm.
that you can see the skit.
Hmm.
Of course, you can be cheat a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
fast forward to the skit, but it's just not the same. You don't get the whole experience. And so, I have always been busy at work. And there came a moment where I got into a job where I had a little bit of extra time, and more importantly, a little bit of extra money to buy everything needed to do this channel. And so once I did that, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to call it The Big Retro Show. I'm going to talk about things that I love about the 80s and 90s. You know, and I thought, well, what do I want to do this for? Do I want to be the next PewDiePie? Do I want to be the next GameSack? Do I want to be the next Ninja? Well, I'm never, ever, ever, ever gonna be a full-time YouTuber paying bills and all of that stuff. Because number one, I have a very good job, pays me very well, and has benefits. You know, if I get sick, this last time I got sick with COVID-19, I got 80 hours of paid leave.
Nice.
You can't get that with YouTube. If you get sick, you are fucked. Fucked. So before I ever started the YouTube channel, I had decided that I was just going to do it for fun, for a hobby. I was not going to put every single waking moment of my life into the channel to try to make it big. And you know, like everybody, when they first start out, I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to put, I just wanted to put videos out there, inform people, talk about the things I want to talk about the things I like, you know, that kind of thing. And ever since then, I've been doing these videos and I've been loving it. But the thing I love the most, the very most about it, isn't the number of views or the number of subscriptions or, you know, the number of likes, the number of comments on. None of that shit matters to me. What matters to me is the friendships I've made.
Yes.
Like yourself.
Yes.
You know, like the other people in the retro gaming slash modern gaming community. It's those relationships that I have built with people, and that, you know, every YouTuber who's out there has built, and we've created this incredible community. Is it all positive? No. Is it all negative? Surely not. No. There's room for everyone in this gaming community, whether you're an Xbox fanboy, whether you're a PS4 fanboy, whether you're a Switch person, or you're a PC gamer. You know, there's room for all of us in this community.
Oh yeah.
You know? And if I fit in there somewhere, that's enough for me. You know, I'm happy doing that. What about you? What made you want to start your channel up?
Yeah, so it's similar to you, a little bit different. You know, I started collecting games again in 2016. My nephew, he and my partner in the YouTube channel, the silent partner that you guys don't ever get to see, although
your editor.
Yeah, but he was in the last Mama Retro episode though. He was the one that was grilling the hot dog in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was his first time actually appearing in a video on the channel, which was cool.
That's Nathan, right?
Devin.
Devin. Okay.
Yep, I call him Sneaky D. That's his nickname. He don't like it. Anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, so he actually is the one that got me started on collecting, because one day he contacted me and he was like, hey, I got a GameCube and some games, because I had expressed some interest in getting into collecting again. He's like, I got a GameCube and some games, I'll give it to you. And I'm like, okay. He gave it to me, and that was it. That was the spark that lit the fire right there.
Wow.
And that led to this. So, and the reason that I'm talking about that is because one day, you know, in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to do something with YouTube. And there was a point back in 2013. Well, let me back up even further than that. 2008, when I started this was a couple of years into playing guitar. 2008, I started a YouTube channel, and my idea there was I was going to upload guitar covers and original music that I had written. And I put a few cover videos on there. I'll actually send you the links for them. I think you might be in it.
No, check it out. Yeah. I'm a musician too, dude.
One of them is There Anybody Out There, the instrumental by Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, yeah.
And dude, when you see me in that video, dude, I was so young, dude. Like, you're gonna be like, that's not Matt. But yeah, so that was kind of my first foray into YouTube, is putting a few guitar related videos up. Now I didn't really stick with it. And then again in 2013, I tried again because I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a huge card and board game collector too. I collect card and board games. Not so much anymore since I started getting into video game collecting, but before I started collecting video games, I bought the hell out of card and board games, and not just to have them on a shelf. I played them a lot with friends and family and stuff.
Yeah.
And so at one point in 2013, I wanted to start a YouTube channel to teach people how to play card board games. So I would just pick a game, make a video teaching people the rules and how to play the game. I did like 2 videos, and then that was it. I kind of dipped away from it. But then when I got this collection, you know, as I started collecting, the idea came in the back of my head that I'd kind of like to start a video game related YouTube channel. And as my collection got bigger and bigger, I decided, you know what? I've got this huge collection. Why not do something else with it besides play it and display it on a shelf? Why not use it to create YouTube content?
Yeah.
And you know, my nephew, he's always wanted to get into it too. He's actually dabbled in YouTube a little bit himself as well with a couple of channels. And so we teamed up. Initially it was him doing all the editing. That was the idea. I would be the face, do the content, he would do the editing. Now we kind of divide and conquer the editing a little bit more because I wanted to learn how to edit and get better and better. Excuse me. So, but yeah, it was really my collection that kind of, the fact that I've always wanted to really get heavily into YouTube, and the fact that I've got this collection, that's kind of what led me to do it. Now, just like you, Los, I don't really have any plans of turning it into a career. If it happens, great, but I'm not counting on it to happen, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I do it because it's fun as hell. First of all, because I feel like as humans, I feel like every human being has in them that natural need to create something, from scratch.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll agree with me, man. Whenever you make a YouTube video from scratch, from idea to that final edited product, it feels good, man.
Yeah, no,
It
it
feels
does.
good,
Definitely.
you know,
Definitely.
because we've created something. And then
Yeah.
to put it out into the world takes a lot of courage, first of all, to put something you've created out into the world. But yeah, so I do it because it's fun. It's a hobby. I have a lot of fun talking about this stuff, sharing my love of it. But just like you, the number one thing, the number one best thing that has came out of it is the people that I've met,
Yeah.
become friends with, been able to interact with, been able to meet while traveling. Because I try to do a lot of traveling when I can to interview people and do game room tours and stuff like that. So that has definitely, just like you, man, that's been the best thing. Is just meeting all these cool people and getting in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are all very good reasons for starting a channel. I don't. That's kind of just to mention a little bit of my background is I used to be in and out of bands. We would play shows, and it was in a heavy metal band.
Nice. I love metal, dude. Huge metalhead.
And switched to rap, recorded albums,
Nice.
started getting radio airplay, and then the band quit.
Yeah.
As it always happens when you
The music industry, man.
taste a little success. And so I've always wanted to do something creative. There was a big hole in my heart, and sure enough, yeah, YouTube filled that hole for me. Now this is what I do rather than music.
Yeah. And it's very fun.
I'm interested in seeing that guitar cover because I've made a few of them. I've recorded about 6 or 7 of them that I've just put on my Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
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 So
Nice.
so I'll Facebook you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, do it,
you can see them.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that, man.
Yeah.
I wish, man, here lately, the past several years, I've kind of fallen off the wagon on playing guitar. They're in my closet right now, and I still bust them out, and I can still play good, but I don't have my calluses anymore. So because I
Yeah,
don't have
neither
my
do I.
calluses anymore, I can't play for very long before it starts to hurt. So I gotta, if I'm gonna start playing heavily again, I gotta build those calluses back up. But yeah,
Yeah,
I played a
absolutely.
lot of metal, man. I played a lot of metal and acoustic. I like playing acoustic stuff, man, a lot
Me too.
too.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And I'm in the same boat you are. I try to practice at the very least 5 minutes a day.
Nice.
But I don't have calluses because I just started this week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but
takes a while to build the calluses back up, man. You got to play a lot to build them back up.
yeah. Oh, truly, truly.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
at one point when I was in my, I guess you could say my prime, my calluses were so, dude, no joke, they were so thick and hard that I could take a box cutter and stab my callus with a box cutter and it wouldn't pierce the callus. I could take a lighter and hold a flame up to my callus and I wouldn't even feel the heat.
Damn,
Yeah, it
damn.
was pretty wild, man. I was like, wow, these things, like if I tapped my fingers on a desk, it would sound like I'm clicking metal against the desk, man. I was like, damn. It's like, damn, when did that happen?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I was never much of a guitar player. I just recently, well, not recently picked it up, but later I picked it up later in life. I
Hmm.
was more of a singer,
Nice,
so
nice.
yeah.
I wish I could sing. I really do, man. I would have to take a lot of singing lessons, because I don't naturally have the ability to sing. It would If I did it right now, you would immediately leave the podcast and you'd never talk to me again. You'd be like, "Fuck this guy." That's how bad it is, man.
Oh man,
maybe
that's
maybe
funny.
that's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, it's
Well, we need to form a band. You can be the lead guitar. I'll be the singer.
hell yeah, yeah. But
We'll get someone to be drummer.
one thing I've really kind of wanted to get into though is doing video game song covers on guitar and turning it into YouTube videos that I can put on my channel. I've always kind of wanted to do that.
Oh, dude, you totally should. There's a
Yeah.
guy. Oh, what's his name? The Resonance.
Haven't heard of him.
The Resonance. Anyways, he does covers,
Nice.
piano covers, and all that stuff. And there are a
Yeah.
few cats out there on YouTube
Yep.
who play guitar. Um, I think Nintendo
Hmm.
is one of them, and they're really, really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What I would want to do is take a piece of video game music and kind of do my own version of it. You know what I mean? To my
right.
own or arrangement of it, I guess you could say. You know.
What is the one video game song that always gets you pumped up? Always.
Oh man, it's a good question. Let me think. I know it's gonna be something retro, probably. Um,
Probably.
I do like the music in the first Ninja Gaiden game. That's
Oh
some good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with that. I will tell you this though. Uh, that new Paper Mario game, dude. There's a couple of really badass heavy metal songs in that game. Like
Yeah.
no joke.
That's dope.
Yeah.
My pick would probably be the intro to Double Dragon. There's
Nice.
something that just like, oh my gosh, it's
Hmm.
like it goes da 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 da. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna kick some ass. It's like, oh, it's time for me to be the hero and go rescue the girl. And it's like that's my music. It's
Nice.
like it pumps me up.
I
Um,
just
the-
thought of another one, and this is not original game music, but Prince of Persia Warrior Within, Godsmack actually wrote some original tunes that plays in the game while you're playing, and it's
yeah.
just super heavy Godsmack riffs, man. And that I like the music in that game quite a bit because it's heavy metal to go along with the violent and dark nature of the game.
Yeah, yeah. The first time I was really like blown away by video game music is playing the very first Diablo on PC.
I've never
That
played that one.
was that was an experience. I
Was
mean,
it
they had metal guitars,
really
acoustic guitars, and it was
nice?
great. It was great. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That was yeah. I mean, there's so many aspects of video games that are so
Hmm.
creative and so cool, and
Mm-hmm.
You know, they add to the overall production
Mm-hmm.
and to your love of the game, really. I
Yep.
mean, because here we are talking about video game music, not the
Yep.
game itself. And
Exactly.
so that would you cover that then? Would you cover Ninja Gaiden music or?
I could see myself doing that. Yeah. Yeah. I could see myself doing that. You know, I I think what I'd like to do, honestly, with some of it is like do my own arrangement, right? But do a heavy metal version and an acoustic version.
Yeah,
That I could find that being fun because I love both pretty equally. I love playing metal. I love playing acoustic stuff pretty equally. And I
yeah.
have when it comes to acoustic guitar, I have my own kind of style. I mean, it's influenced by a couple of musicians, but I don't play acoustic. The acoustic music that I come up with is, I feel like, different, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Hey, that's great. That's great. I don't have a style. I just copy everyone.
Yeah,
But
no.
that's awesome that you found that, man.
Hmm.
I pick up your guitar and just try to mess with it. Maybe you
Yeah.
can come up with a new intro or
Hmm.
new music you can use on YouTube. Or,
Yeah. I've thought about doing that.
that's madly creative. I would love to
Hmm.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I really need to play more. I need to like maybe just at least play 10, 15 minutes a day just so I'm still, playing a little bit because here lately I just haven't been playing at all. For a while I would say about 5 or 6 months ago, the bug hit me again. I was playing hours every day for like a month. Have you ever heard of the heavy metal band called Devil Driver?
No.
Dude, awesome band, and they're not satanic. I know you hear the name Devil Driver and you probably automatically think they're a satanic band, but they're not. They're an
Yeah.
American heavy metal band, and they're freaking amazing. So I was trying to do learn a cover of one of their songs. That's a lot of fun to play. So the bug did hit me recently, and then it just kind of dropped off, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of have to have the drive, right?
Yep,
Like just like anything, you got to be driven.
that is true. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. But yeah, so while I go, so I know you mentioned, you're not trying to turn YouTube into a hobby or anything, but what are like some of your goals with your channel? What's some of the like some things that you're shooting for? And it could be a number, it could be anything. Just what I know, because it's important to have goals, I feel like. So what are some of your goals?
My goal is to entertain,
Yes, true.
and to do things that satisfy me
Exactly. Yes.
first.
Yes.
um, Something that I can be proud of,
Mm-hmm.
and that I could look upon a year, 2 years, 3 years later, and say, "Damn, I did a really good job on that video."
Mm-hmm.
So every time I do a video, the goal is to always make something that's timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, not every, you know, video game pickup is going to be timeless, or
Yes.
for every GI Joe video I make, or every RoboCop video I make, on
Mm-hmm.
which you collab on that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a stinker or two in there, and I'm okay with
We
that.
all have them.
Yeah, I try to constantly improve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it'd be nice to have like lots of subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't stress over that. I don't. I used to kind of like stress over like not getting enough subscribers or
Mm-hmm.
views, and losing subscribers, and ping
Mm-hmm.
ponging. I mean, every YouTuber knows about the ping ponging, where
Yeah.
you get a subscriber, you lose a subscriber an
Yep.
hour later.
Yep.
It's like, it's
Mm-hmm.
bullshit, right?
Yep.
But yeah, the goals, I don't really have any lofty goals for my channel. I just want to have fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, I have too many fucking goals in my life.
Yeah, I hear that.
like
I hear
like
that.
real goals that for
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, it's just a little fun hobby that
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's about it.
Nice.
One thing I want to mention though is, like, if anybody is considering starting a YouTube channel, do it for the right reasons.
Yes.
And you don't necessarily need to be
Mm-hmm.
game sack.
Right.
You don't have to have these crazy great production values like
Mm-hmm.
the Game Chasers and AVGN, and all of these guys who are just out there just blowing us away.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
Yep.
Do it with your cell phone.
Yep.
If you want to say something, just pick up your cell phone and do it. It's you don't have to be like high production.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that production in the long run doesn't matter.
Right.
It's all about the message.
Yep.
All about the message. And the case in point, I did a video picking up. It was a video that I did after work.
I watched that one recently.
I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get an arcade one-up machine. Production value was shit. It was crap. Total bullshit.
I thought it turned out good. I thought it was good.
But people watched it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because they were interested in what I wanted to say. So
Mm-hmm.
find what you love and just fucking do it.
Yep.
Just do it. I mean, has that been your experience too?
Yes, it has been like, because I would never want to make a video about something that I'm not passionate about, because that would just be boring, man. To make a video about something you're not passionate about just to try to get views, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of YouTubers that do that. They make videos about stuff that they're not truly passionate about just because it's the hot thing.
Yeah, it's the hot
it's
news.
going to bring in the views. Sometimes the videos that I make might coincide with what the hot thing is, but it's still something that I'm passionate about. But like the thought of trying to make a video about something that I'm not passionate about, to me, would take all the fun out of YouTube. So yeah, like, I always try to come up with new ideas, of course, but it always coincides with something that I'm passionate about,
Yeah.
like the GameCube, which is why I'm trying to kind of do more GameCube related videos, because I'm very passionate about it, and a lot of my audience, they like GameCube videos, so it kind of works out.
Yeah.
You know.
And it fulfills you.
Yes.
It feeds that need to be creative.
Yep, you're right. But yeah, so but for me personally, as far as goals go, just like you, I do it for fun. I do it because it just as a hobby. But at the same time, I do want to bring that number up, and the subscriber number up, and view count up, but for a different reason. Not to make money, because I don't think I'm ever gonna make money off the YouTube channel. Even now, I'm monetized now, and it's like $2 a month or something, so it's like nothing. So I don't expect to ever make money off of it, but one of my goals in life, Los, and I don't know if I've told you about this or not. One of my goals in life is to develop an indie game. And I'm in the beginning, and I'm in the beginning steps of that. I'm going to school for software development.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, I'm in the beginning steps of that. I've got 3 solid game ideas that I'm going to work towards. Obviously, I'm going to do the easiest one first. So the way I see it is, if I can build my YouTube platform up, then whenever I finally have a game developed enough to be able to show, I can share it with my audience and maybe be able to send them a demo or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to build the audience up so that whenever I do develop an indie game, I at least have a base audience that I can share the passion of it with. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. That's a pretty exciting goal that you have.
Yeah.
And, I wish you the best of luck.
It's going to be tough, dude.
Dude, yeah, but don't fucking give up.
Oh, I'm not.
Get it.
The one
make
thing,
that game.
Yeah.
Send me a code.
Definitely, man. Yeah, the one, well, I'll definitely have you as a playtester, man, for sure. But
yeah.
But the one thing that I know I'm gonna have to hire somebody for is the creating the art, the assets. Because when it comes to that type of art, I have no talent in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I would definitely have to hire somebody for that.
There's just lots of guys out there too. Lots of guys out there with YouTube channels. Jorgogo, one of them.
Very talented artist.
I know there's a lot of others, but yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of one of my goals.
So what made you want to do that goal?
I guess just my love of video games, and and my love of indie games in particular,
Hmm.
I personally think that there are a lot of indie games out there that rival and even beat some AAA experiences.
Hmm.
I think I think most of the originality in the gaming industry right now comes out of indie games. A lot of the original new gameplay mechanics, new ideas in gaming, I think a lot of it is coming from indie games and not AAA games so much anymore,
Yeah.
personally. Um, so it's just, I've always wanted to create a game, and I've got three ideas that have been swimming in my head for years now that I've fleshed out in my head. I just got to get them on paper and start actually developing, developing them. Stav Chronic Spartan Gaming has been a huge inspiration, man, because
Yeah.
he's an
Yeah,
indie
that's
game
right.
developer.
He's an indie game developer. He's got
Hmm.
um, the gym simulator that he's
Yep.
doing,
Yep.
and the like other little puzzle game that he made.
Glow, yeah, it's actually
Oh yeah,
it's a platformer and it's hard as hell, dude. I
yeah.
downloaded it on Steam. You should check it out, man. It's pretty tough. It's a tough game, but it's very unique. He actually added some unique gameplay mechanics to that game, so I was very impressed when I was playing it. Although
That's
it
awesome.
was pissing me off because it's a tough game.
That's
But
awesome. I'm gonna have to download that.
yeah, it's like $5, so it's pretty cheap. Um,
Yeah, Price is Right.
yes, yes, but yeah, no, I don't know, man. I've just always, even before the YouTube channel, I've always wanted to develop a game. I just haven't taken that first major step yet. That's the thing.
Well, you got nothing but time.
Yeah.
You're a young dude, and fuck, if you want to develop a game, do it, bro.
Yeah.
You got it. I think that's an awesome goal that you have. Um, it's great, especially if you have those ideas that you
Yep.
have. It sounds like they're pretty awesome. I know you don't want to talk about them quite yet,
I, I
um,
I'll tell
but
you about them one day off camera.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's great. That's great, and
Yeah.
you certainly have a good community to pull talent from if you
Oh
need to
yeah.
hire.
Oh yeah.
Hire, yeah. There's a lot of people
Yep.
out there, and you've made just great connections. Even
Mhm.
folks at the Game Chasers
Mhm.
and the movie and all those great people that worked on that movie. It's
Yep.
like you have that connection.
Yeah, and see that's the thing though. I think the game development stuff is going to be put off for a couple of years for me. I think I'll start getting my ideas on paper and fleshing them out on paper, but as far as actually developing them, I think it's going to be put off for a couple of years because right now, what I'm more heavily prepping myself for is filmmaking. I'm getting heavily into filmmaking. As a matter of fact, I'm actually working on a script for my first short film that I plan on shooting this fall. So hopefully, if everything works out before the end of the year, I'll have an actual high production value on a zero budget short film that I'll be able to show off.
Wow.
So that's I'm getting into that actually a little bit more heavily than the game development stuff, just because my experience on the Game Chasers movie set was just so amazing that it really, like, while I was on that set observing everything and helping everybody out, just taking it all in. I'm just the whole time I was sitting there thinking, this is something I could see myself doing and being very passionate about.
Oh, so it inspired you.
It very, very much inspired me, man, big time. And my nephew, he's also heavily into filmmaking too. He's writing some scripts. Me and him are going to be working on some projects together. I'm working on accumulating the equipment needed for it.
Yeah.
I've almost got all the equipment that I need to make a short film that will actually be be a very high production value, cinematic looking experience. So that's, I gotta get the practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your timeline on the film? When do you expect to have something?
So my goal is to have this script written by the end of August, full, like, final version of the script, fully fleshed out. And it's gonna be like 10 to 15 minutes long.
Hmm.
And then hopefully shoot it in September. Is what I'm hoping to shoot it in September, maybe October at the latest, and then have it fully edited before the end of the year. I would like to have it done before Halloween because it's going to be a horror genre, not
Oh, cool.
supernatural, not anything supernatural, but it's going to be horror genre.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have it done by Halloween, but I don't think realistically that I could do that and have it be up to the level of quality that I want it to be at.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's also a great goal. I can't wait to see the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully it's not complete shit because most people that get into filmmaking, their first few projects, just like with YouTube, man, your first few videos are not going to be that great. So I'm hoping that
yeah.
my first short film is not a complete train wreck. I'm going to try my best to not make it be. Dude, I've been doing so much research. I've been watching so many videos online about filmmaking and reading books. So I'm trying to absorb as much information. I'm practicing with my equipment. I don't know if you've noticed the bump in visual quality of
Uh,
some of my more recent YouTube videos or
I
not,
I
but
have, and I've been meaning to ask you, what camera are you using now?
it is a Sony A7 III or A7 III, I think it's called. It's about a $2,000 camera. I'm doing monthly payments on it through Amazon.
Uh huh.
But dude, it's a camera that's high quality enough to be able to shoot cinematic footage in 4K.
That's awesome. That
So
is
yeah,
awesome.
so that's gonna
Yeah.
be that was my equipment investment for this side hobby, and the idea is, I know we're kind of derailing away from video games, but the idea is if I can get the equipment and get the experience with the equipment, get and learn how to use it, learn the skills necessary. The idea is to maybe start a little production company where I can shoot commercials locally or do wedding videography, take on jobs locally because
Yeah.
dude, people that do jobs like that, like even small production companies, you can make thousands of dollars just from a single job.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Just you can make a couple of grand off a wedding alone.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
the idea would be to take that money and invest it into filmmaking would be the idea there.
Yeah. 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 No, that's a great goal. I've always kind of dabbled in photography and that kind of
Hmm.
thing, and always wanted to, like, maybe I should do weddings. I can do wedding photos and stuff like that. And there are wedding photographers out there making $5,000. I mean,
Yeah,
it all depends for
yeah,
just for one wedding.
yeah. It's
All you got to
crazy,
do is
man.
take pictures, and it's like
Yeah,
it's hella
it's
easy. And
it's crazy.
so
But
yeah.
at the very least, if all that doesn't work out, at the very least, I'm learning a lot of skills and getting equipment that I can use to raise the production quality of the YouTube videos. So at the very least, there's going to be a positive benefit on that end that will come out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you could only improve your YouTube videos from here on.
Yeah.
If if I could, I'm kind of happy with the video that the very first video that I
Hmm.
did. I'm happy with it. The second video I did, and that was May the 5th video that I did. It was a video in which I was fucking hella tired.
Oh,
I was
really? Yeah.
so tired doing that video
Hmm.
because I spent the entire night
Hmm.
before editing and rendering on my shitty MacBook, and
Hmm.
it took forever.
Hmm.
Luckily, I've since upgraded my computer, and I don't have to use the Mac anymore. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's I have those little regrets starting out.
Yeah. We all do, man. Like my first few videos, like if you were to go back and watch my very first YouTube video, which you should, man, because it's bad. Like the lighting is bad, the audio is bad, the video quality is bad. My on-screen presence is awful. Like I sound so I have no energy. I just oh man. But you just gotta start doing it. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I'm gonna check that out now.
You
Now that
should.
you
It's
said
it's
that,
it's pretty it's pretty bad. There's some stupid jokes in it, man.
I like
Oh
the
God.
jokes though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like there's a part in the video. The video was like my top 10 most anticipated games of 2019. I think that was my very first video, and my nephew actually voiceover came into the video to talk about some of his most anticipated videos. And while he was talking voiceover, I'm just sitting there like acting all awkward while he's talking and just like just doing all this awkward stuff. It was, but you know,
That's funny.
but you just people listening. I hope that some of the stuff that you've heard is at least inspiring you, and because if you're going to take anything away from the podcast, I hope that you can take away that you can do it. If you want to start YouTube, you can do it.
Absolutely.
But just know that, like Lo said, number one, do it for you. Do it to have fun. Do it for something you're passionate about. But if you do want it to grow, you got to put the work into it. It's going to be a grind. It is going to be a grind.
Yeah, and if you're doing it by yourself, you are going to need to know a little bit about everything. You're going to need to know about shooting video, lighting. Yes. You're going to need to know about sound. Yes. You're going to need to know about video editing, Photoshop for the thumbnails, After Effects if you want to do cool shit. It's there's a lot of disciplines that go into making a video.
But
so just know that.
Yeah. But the great thing is all that knowledge is out there on the internet.
On
Videos,
YouTube.
articles, even on YouTube and me. So you can learn this stuff. You just have to take the time to do it.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is, and both me and Los have mentioned this, even outside of this podcast, you just got to start doing it. You got to take that first step, even if you suck in the beginning, and you're probably not going to do a very good job in the beginning unless you're just naturally talented. You will get better as you go along. You'll get better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you don't feel comfortable on camera, there are ways to practice off camera.
Oh yeah.
And you'll eventually get better. The more that you're in front of the camera and doing it, the more comfortable you'll get. So.
Dude, I was so uncomfortable, and when I first started, man, like it took me a good several months before I finally started getting comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Like at first, I was so nervous and uncomfortable, man, and that really showed in my on-screen presence. But it really is true what people say, in that the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get with being in front of the camera. There really is truth to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And now, like, you're a natural.
Yeah, you are too, man.
Oh, I try.
Yeah.
I stumble here and there.
Hey, we all do. We all do. But you can edit the stumbles out.
Jump cuts, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so, man, before we close out the podcast, do you have any final thoughts, anything else you want to say, anything you want to plug, like maybe an upcoming video you want to advertise or something like that?
I just want to thank you, Matt. I want to thank you for not only for having me on the podcast and allowing me to shoot the shit with you for a little bit, but I just want to thank you for your friendship.
Yeah.
Certainly means a lot to me, and I can't wait to see the movie that you're doing, and I can't wait to play the game that you're doing too.
Yeah.
I think you got some great goals, and sky is the limit for you.
Yeah. Hopefully I can make them happen.
And I love being a part of this retro gaming, modern gaming community, and I will continue to be a member probably till the day I die.
And one day, dude, me and you are gonna have a beer together in person.
Oh hell yeah!
It's gonna happen, man. One day it's gonna happen.
Hell yes!
Because I travel a lot, man. So one day I'll make my way to California, and me and you'll have a beer together, man.
Awesome. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, dude. Because there's a few people in California that I would like to visit. Plus, I've got some family out there, so
Yeah, sweet.
So, yeah. But yeah, man. Thank you for joining the show. Definitely want to have you back on. I think next time I'd like to get you back on with maybe a couple other people so we can have like a group discussion about something, or just talk about whatever. Just shoot the shit, see where the conversation goes. That's fun too, to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down. Anytime you need me, brother, I'm down.
Appreciate it, man. And again, everybody, Big Retro Show, links will be in the description down below for his YouTube channel, his social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, and then also the video that we mentioned, the G.I. Joe video. I'm going to throw a link down below for that too. And also, you could go to tpublic.com and pick yourself up a Big Retro Show t-shirt. And this is a really cool t-shirt. I like it a lot.
Much appreciated, brother. Much
Yeah,
appreciated.
so if you enjoy his content and you want to give him some support and represent, grab one of those t-shirts. And so yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Awesome.
man, thanks again for coming on, and everybody else out there, keep playing games and having a good time. Stay safe out there.
Peace.
Be positive. Things are going to get better. And we'll catch you all in the next one.